Decluttering at the speed of life. We are starting today. Oh my goodness. I have a jacket on because we've had the AC on. And I came up and my room was like freezing cold, which is good because I have to shut this off. Shut it off to do this, to do a live. Don't have to, but it's easier. I was working on my little diamond painting right here while I was waiting, and I almost lost track of time. But hi, Lori, so glad you're here. So I wanted to show you guys my room. Don't pardon my desk. Somebody said, style your desk. Hi, Monique, the crazy mommy. This is my desk right now, but I am making it like a makeup desk. So there's my makeup right there, and that's what I'll do when we show the house. But I wanted to show you at least my bedroom right now because we got stuff out. So this is like your sneak peek because I actually think I haven't put up the videos yet that will show you what this room looks like right now. So let me turn the camera around. So let me pretend like I'm coming through the door. Remember, this is where I don't love that cord, but what can I do? But this is where that couch was and the rocking chair. So it's all empty. Sparrow Stockwell, hello. I'm so glad you're here. So this is where my desk is. I put the blanket over that just to kind of soften it, although it's a little... I took up the rug because they're not buying the rug, they're buying the floor, but it also makes the room look bigger because you don't have it like ending at a certain spot. And then you see my bed. And really the reason I'm showing you this is a decluttered room, right? And then over here, and I'm sure I'll do even more, but for now, this is like my shower caddy. And this was stuff like my husband was like, no, I might need this. My laptop, okay, my diamond art. What's over here? This will be hidden. This is like my supplements and stuff. So this will be like, just looking like, And this actually was behind that, which I would normally do. Hi, Sharon. So glad you're here. Just showing my decluttered bedroom. So yeah, so then when you turn around from this spot, again, this is the room from that angle. So empty, and it's what I love. This makes me feel so at peace. It doesn't feel too naked for me. I already told my husband, I'm like, here we are bringing things to our storage unit. I don't know that I'm gonna want anything that's in there. Oh my goodness, although then I think, okay, the treadmill's in there, and in the winter, you're gonna wish you had your treadmill. So yes, our realtor came, and I will tell you more about that. So decluttering at the speed of life. Today, I'm going to go over the introduction and chapter 1. Thank you, Lori. Lori says my room looks great. I'm loving it so much, except it's very echoey. So I really don't have to talk very loud. I kind of want to talk about my own decluttering journey to start out. And I would love it if you would tell me what's your biggest challenge? Hi, Star Unicorn. What is Marie, right? What is your biggest challenge to having a decluttered home or keeping a decluttered home? Even if you're good at it or you've accomplished it, what would you say is the biggest challenge? I would love to know. So growing up, my parents were not ones to hold on to things. As a matter of fact, my mother sold things she didn't realize were antiques at a garage sale, and it was kind of like a family joke. The original Barbie in its original case, she sold for 25 cents. She sold an antique cradle that my dad had slept in, and my dad had a rule: if you have not used it in 2 years, it's going. So, when you're a kid and you've got toys or sentimental items, you can imagine, whoops, okay, I'm putting these coasters behind my phone to prop it up, and then the coasters are knocking it off. Oh yes, Maria is saying revisiting places you think you've already done. Yes, in the area of decluttering, and also like in the like painting or any improvements you do on your house. If you live in your house for a long time, you feel like, I already did that room, and then it's not done anymore. So my dad had a rule: if you hadn't used it in 2 years, it's out. And he would regularly, yearly clean out the attic We had like an attic over our garage. He didn't keep things. They didn't keep things. They liked to clean house. Now I get a house of my own. We never really had things like china or things passed down generation upon generation because, as I said, my mother sold the cradle my dad was in because to her it was useful. So when you're not using it anymore. Also, Marie's saying getting rid of clothes you love because they don't fit. Yes. And also, my rule for these is if you have something to say about decluttering, say it. Even if I'm talking about something else, if I'm in a certain spot, page in the book, and you think of something else, I want you to share it. It does not interrupt me. So if you were not in the anxiety group, then the anxiety group where we were doing the breaking anxiety script, then I want you to know that I love it when you share. So don't ever think, oh no, she went past that subject, so now I can't comment. No, comment, because there's always a delay. And so I expect it, and we'll just weave it in. It's no big deal. So then living on my own with my husband, originally we had this really small apartment, but people had given us beautiful gifts. And Dana says it in the book too, is like, you think you're going to use it later when you have a house. Breaking up a set can be so hard. Yes, so true. So small apartments, keeping things in boxes like wedding gifts. I even think we might have stored some at my mother's house. Then our first house was 750 square feet, so it was small. Mags says that clothes are hard for her too. Clothes are hard, and I honestly, as much as you've seen me declutter clothes, I've got clothes that need to be decluttered right now that I think I'm gonna wear this summer, but I kind of feel like I'm not. Some of those sundresses, I don't know. I'm not feeling great about my body size right now, so I'm struggling, and it's making the clothing thing a hard thing. So we moved quite a bit when we were first married, and I always was thinking in my head, it was way before I was watching YouTube, but I would think I want to get rid of things I don't need so that it makes the move easier. And so I always had the best intentions to do it while I was packing, and some of it you do, and then at the end, do you not just start chucking things in, right? And I'm already feeling that just a little bit. Not so much that it's stuff I won't want as it is I'm tempted to put things that don't go together. So, because today our realtor came, and so just getting the house ready for her to come, clearing spaces, wanting it to look staged, the whole thing. I was tempted to put things in a box that don't go together. And it reminded me of that whole feeling where at the end of a move, you're just chucking stuff in boxes. And then have you ever had the situation where you get to the next house? It's months before you even open those boxes, and you didn't miss any of it. Lori says, keeping things just because you've kept it for a long time, like toys from my childhood. Yes, and then it becomes sentimental, even if it didn't begin as sentimental. It becomes sentimental just because it's old. It's just the craziest thing. So, and then in this house, so when I would move, I would have the intention of decluttering. I would do a little bit of it, then things just get chucked because it's time to go. It's go time. And then here, there were things that we never did go through that came here from the other house. This was a much bigger house. We went from a 750 square foot house to a 1,600 square foot house. So even though maybe huge or not huge by other people's standards, it was double the size of our previous home. So we obviously had a lot of room, and a cement basement, which we had a dirt basement in the house before. So here in this house, my toxic trait became decluttering equaled putting it in the basement. Monique says the videos Dana made when she did her last move might be helpful to you. Oh, yeah. That would be good. Something I can put in my ears as I'm packing. I should watch those. Thank you for mentioning that. So here, my toxic trait was box it up, put it in the basement, or I had clutter bags. It would be like someone's coming, and so I'd run around the house grabbing whatever clutter, throw it in a box, put it in the basement. And it wasn't just a delayed decision. I mean, that's to me a step worse than a delayed decision until my basement was so full. Well, then I can't even remember what year it was, but Michelle from My Everyday Wife Life. Okay, so I started a YouTube channel because I had heard, what's her name? A Large Family Table. Jamrell Stewart. She was talking about how I started watching YouTube. It started with, I saw, She's in Her Apron was my very first house YouTuber I ever saw. I don't even know how I saw it, why the algorithm would have brought that up. Because I think before I was just listening to like worship music was why I would use YouTube. Monique says the big takeaway was only ordering the number of boxes that U-Haul estimated you would need for that size house. She said it made it easier to evaluate deserved box space and what didn't. Oh, that's really interesting. So Jamrell said that she prayed that God would help her to figure out how she could help her family financially, and that's how she ended up on social media. Okay, so she had a website first, and she had a YouTube channel. So I began to pray too, and I was like, Lord, would it be a YouTube channel? And so when I started my YouTube channel, obviously I did want to encourage women. It's something I did in my life anyway, Bible studies and meeting with women and counseling with women. My husband was a pastor for a certain amount of time, a youth pastor for a certain amount of time. But also I saw it as you could build this into a job. So what you would do is I started being involved in collaborations. And Michelle from My Everyday Wife Life was someone I was watching, and she started commenting on my channel. And I was like, oh my goodness, Michelle from My Everyday Wife Life just commented on my channel, I totally fangirled it. She invited me to a decluttering challenge. It was the one in February, where February 1st, you do one thing, February 2nd, you declutter two, and you keep going through the month. Well, I'm doing the main parts of my house, but then it was like, once you get to the bigger numbers, I'm thinking, where can I find 20 items? The basement, right? I used to never even go in my basement. I refused to walk down those stairs because I hate basements. And I found it creepy. Of course it was creepy. There was books piled everywhere. 2021, I watched it this evening. Oh, I gotta write that down. Thank you. 2021 was my collab. Oh, I love that you knew that. And I remember saying in that video, we must be really close friends if I'm letting you in my basement. So that is where and then that video, one of my videos in that series took off. I got like 3,000 views. I had never seen that kind of a view on a video. And someone who teaches about YouTube, his name is Sean Cannell, said, success leaves clues, make a part 2, because my intention was to have a cleaning channel. So then it's like, okay, the decluttering videos are doing well. We're going to keep doing those. And I really feel like it was God's way of saying, getting me to declutter. Karen, declutter this house. You prayed for a way to help your family financially. People are interested and needing help decluttering. So you declutter and let's do this thing. And that is really my decluttering. So when I say I would not be decluttering without you, I really mean I would not be decluttering without you. Just, it was the way that God moves. So I loved how Dana was talking about becoming a decluttering expert. And she says, which probably makes all of you decluttering experts, I'm a decluttering expert because I have decluttered. I have purged my home of literal truckloads of junk. Yes, truckloads of junk and a, what do you call it? Dumpster. We rented a dumpster at one time. I have opened random doors and slammed them shut, feeling completely and totally overwhelmed, and then open them again and work my way through the clutter inside. Mag says those clutter bags are the worst, and I used to recommend that to people. I have so many in my bedroom to go through. I think I have done 8 now and maybe 1 bag of all that stuff, and it's been sitting there so long, and I can so relate. And I'm telling you, at least you had to trip over that to go to bed. I had mine in the basement. The Minimalist Show on Netflix got me decluttering. Oh, that's so cool, Sharon. I feel like I might have watched that. I'm not sure. So then she says, I dealt with my own stuff, my own sentimental attachments, my own excessive need to be prepared for any and every scenario. Homeschool mamas, raise your hand. Oh my goodness. That could possibly happen between now and the day my great great grandchildren die. Yes, because I would think I should save these homeschool books for my kids. Um, Sharon says it was back in 2020. Oh, then I probably didn't watch it unless I watched it old. Yeah, probably didn't. And that would have been the best time for me to declutter my house. I wasn't going anywhere. Um, I collected the supplies needed to live my ideal life and then pried those supplies from my own tight grip as I adjusted to the reality of the life I'm actually living. I've learned how to get rid of things even though I wanted to keep them all. I've learned to like living my life with only things that make it better. I've consciously decided to view my home as a place to live instead of a place to store all my great ideas and their attached stuff. Yes, if you want to store great ideas, get a Pinterest board. You know, that's the best place to do that. I've done all that, even though it was completely unnatural to me. I've had to come up with real life ways to break through real life clutter in my own life. And I'll tell you, the mentality of scarcity was huge for me. So when my husband was a youth pastor, they let us live in the parsonage, which was this huge house. We had been married 9 months. And so because it was a huge house, it was also an unfurnished huge house. So they did like a furniture, they told everybody we needed furniture. And so we got a lot of furniture. Furniture we liked, furniture we didn't like. Furniture that smelled like smoke. It just, you know how it is? Like lamps, curtains, and I'm thankful for it. But at the same time, when somebody gives you something, you don't really know, okay, what am I supposed to do with this when I'm done with it? Or if I don't like it, and I got something better. Oh, ooh, all that guilt. There was so much guilt tied to it. But people donating things to me became a huge hindrance. But also, I had to get to a place in my life when I was doing my Declutter 2021 and after of trusting God to provide for me. And so I felt before like if I got rid of something that I might need later, I wasn't being a good steward. And that why would God give it to me? You gave it away. Why would I provide it again? I already provided it once and you got rid of it. And I had to realize that, how about this? God wants me to share. And it's better if I share it with someone who needs it now than save it in case I need it. And I have to trust that God will provide it again. And He does. Marie says, having kids with disabilities, I kept every assessment, appointment notice, workbooks, paper clutter is so overwhelming. The fear is awful. Yes. And you know what? Think about it, Marie. What is the one area of paper clutter I still have? It is those homeschool papers. I completely get it. And Woozy is Rachel's cat, and Leo is Creasy's cat. And I have taken the paperwork from the vet and from when we were adopted them out of the shelter and given it to them for the accordion keeper I got for them. Oh, I am telling you, can I relate? And so, what a blessing every time a kid grows up to give them their file. But even that took so much decluttering to get to a place where I had. How many times did I look for a birth certificate through this house, everywhere, looking for a birth certificate for the kid to play baseball? And when I finally did a file folder for each kid, what a freedom that was. And then one step further, wish I would have thought of it years ago, when I got an accordion folder for each one of them, put their papers in it, and handed it to them. So Yvonne's is in Yvonne's room, Creasy's is in Creasy's room, Rachel is in Rachel's room, and I'll give them something. You got a bank statement? Here, put this in your accordion folder, right? And I tell them, even if you suck at organizing, at least it's all in one place, right? Oh man, I can so relate to that, Marie. So, things to know before you read. This book is for the person who is ready to declutter. You're all ready to declutter, or you're already decluttering, right? Hello, Mags. You're already decluttering. This book is for and your husband might not be ready. Your kids might not be ready, but you can declutter everything you can declutter. And then Maybe they'll see you and follow your example. Maybe they won't, but you'll still have the freedom that your stuff is decluttered. And then if they'll let you organize and label theirs, if it's in your house, then that is very reasonable. Sometimes with kids, what I had to do is the whole, where you have, I think that's Dana too, where you limit the space like this. I have one son whose brain never stops. He's moved out. He's in Massachusetts. So we would buy a box of 3,000 sheets of paper per month for him through his growing up years. He would make games, he would draw, he would write stories, and then we had to limit him to a Rubbermaid. Once your Rubbermaid was full, now you've got to go through and declutter and decide what projects you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. Urgh. But you can't make someone else declutter unless they're your child. Then you can. But once they grow up and they're adults, then it's hard again. I won't solve your personal problems. I will address some of your unique delusions. I love that. Letting go of my own excuses was harder than getting up and decluttering. Just thought you should know. I won't judge you. Following the steps in the book won't be dramatic. Change will happen, but it won't necessarily involve big reveals. It's not the before and after we're going for as much as the life. Because I was just talking to the girls about picking a house, and my realtor had said the words to me, well, if you find your dream home, and I said to the girls, I go, you know what, girls? We're not going to look for our dream home. Let's look for a dream life, not a dream home, right? And a dream life doesn't include tripping over the boxes of things from my past or things from my future. Every day has enough trouble of its own. It's going to be a one day at a time life. And just when you think you're done decluttering, then you have another aha moment of like, this is still too much. This is still too much. I'll step on all kinds of idealistic toes. And she says she's going to talk about trash or donate. And yes, dream life. I'm telling you. I love how she had said, she shares in chapter 1. Oh, okay. So there's no wrong. Let me just go through this before I get to the next place. Some data is real. I love that. But she's made up numbers. I love that. I'll talk about the steps to working through overwhelming mess again and again. You might need to read the book more than once. Feel free to take some strategies, leave others, because there's no wrong way to declutter. It's going to be fun. So chapter 1, I love how she... I was reading chapter 2, and I thought I was reading chapter 1, which my pages must have stuck together. So that means I haven't even read chapter 1. Okay, so we're just going to go through each paragraph. In chapter 2, she talks about how, she thought I'll sell things on eBay, but then she got addicted to making money and she starts buying things to sell. And I have often wanted someone to teach me how to do that. I'm really glad now I haven't ever gotten into that, because I could see how you would be buying, because when you see it and it's the right brand, it's going to sell. And then you keep buying because you aren't, for me, I live 35 minutes from Goodwill, the nearest Goodwill. I wouldn't want to have to keep going back. So I could see how you would like gather, or people that have sold their clothes and they end up with racks that they're keeping their clothes on that are going to sell so they can take the picture and do the whole thing. Oh man. She says, decluttering is stuff you don't need leaving your house. You don't need it. Decluttering isn't stuff shifting. Who hasn't done stuff shifting? And if it doesn't leave the house, it is stuff shifting. So this year, I've gotten very disciplined about the cars getting packed. Is it getting packed for the dump, or is it getting packed for Goodwill? It depends on what day of the week it is. Right now, it's packed for the storage unit because of getting the house ready for the realtor to come today. But then it needs to be packed for the dump, because I've got wood scraps from the deck. There's just different things there. Our photographer is coming next Wednesday, a week from today, to take the pictures of the house. And then the house is being officially listed July 21st. And we are moving to Vermont. Like, I feel like I've shifted my gaze of I hope to move to I am moving. And just having that, I'm looking for an ideal life, not an ideal house. we've got to find a place to live that's affordable. And I'm going to be content with what we find. That's what I have decided in my heart. Okay. Decluttering isn't organizing. That is so important. Decluttering is not organizing, you know, and you should never, never, never go out and buy organizing supplies first. You declutter the crap out of that house first. Thank you, Marie, for the positive vibes. I appreciate that. Declutter, declutter, declutter. And then when you've decided that what you have in your home is what you truly want in your home, then to go buy organizing things would be appropriate if that's what you decide to do. And, you know, don't let anyone judge you. You spent too much, too little, blah, blah. You do what you do. You do what you need to do. She says she focused solely on getting things we didn't need out of the house. Yes, that is the most important thing. And when I did that, a weight lifted off my home as well. So she says she wants to go over some key terms. It's important not to get overwhelmed. And we talk about that so much on my channel, right? It's taking that bit of time you have. You know, some of you work outside your home. So, hi, Tracy. I'm so glad that you're here. Late is always great. We want you here. Just to see your little name come up is just makes the day. So don't even worry about being late. Always come when you can, and then you can watch the playback. And oftentimes it will take like a good hour for the playback to completely upload. This is happening. And then once I click end, then it starts to upload. And the longer it is, the longer it takes to upload. Okay. So her favorite made up word is deslobification. It's what I call the process through which I improved my own home from a constant state of, oh my word, what is wrong with me, to I can totally do this even though it's never going to be perfect. And it is never going to be perfect. And getting my house ready to sell, I had to go, okay, Karen, this house was built in 1987. You're not going to get it perfect. If you could have got it perfect, you'd probably be staying here, you know? And my realtor, she's so laid back. She's like, this is the price I can get you. I will get this house sold in 3 weeks. And I'm like, curtains or no curtains? No curtains there, but they just have curtains. Should I take them down? No, it's fine. You know, she was so great. She was like very encouraging. I love how you brought light into the room and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. I definitely didn't make up the word clutter, but I did make up a definition for it. I define clutter as anything I can't keep under control. Oh, that is so true. If you can't keep it under control, it's time to declutter. If a space in my home consistently gets out of control, I have too much stuff in the space, I have clutter. Tracy says, I just got back from clearing daughter's garage so plumber could work on the water heater. I would declutter the whole garage. It's so much easier to declutter someone else's. And plus, when you get that freedom for yourself, don't you just want to give that freedom to everybody else, right? When I get my bedroom to this place and I feel how peaceful that is, I want to do that for literally every single person on the planet, because it's just so relaxing. It's just such a breath of fresh air, and it's worth it not to own stuff, to have that. And I think too is you got to get the judgy out. Like when I lived in my 750 square foot house, I could have 3 things on a table and it looked like a disaster area. I think of that with Kimmy Cope. She's in a single wide mobile home. It's going to look like a mess quick. And people will say, I can't believe the mess you have, and it's only the 2 of you. Well, you try living in a single wide mobile home, and then you're going to see it's not as easy as it looks. So it's really about you trying to live your best life to the best of your ability. And for those in a smaller home, it's going to be a lot harder than those of us who live in a larger home. For those whose home is full of people, it's going to be a lot harder than someone who either lives alone or it's just them and their spouse. I mean, it just is. For someone who lives with someone who collects clutter, it's going to be harder for them than someone who lives with someone who loves to get rid of clutter. It just is. So you got to run your own race and not let someone else's race make you feel bad about yourself, because the comparison, it truly is the thief of joy, because you can always find somebody doing it better. Always. And we like to say here, this isn't the oppression Olympics of like, oh, this is so awful, and why do I have it so bad and they have it so easy? That just gets us nowhere. Oh man. So clutter is anything when you consistently, a space is out of control. She said, I suffered from decluttering paralysis, a real phenomenon that makes me unable to move when facing an overwhelming mess. I cured it by moving, by starting with the easy stuff. And strangely, every time I did something easy, the space looked better and I was less overwhelmed. Yeah. So, for someone who has bags and bags in a room, you don't start with the whole room, right? You start with a bag. If you could do a bag every time you declutter, and you're consistently putting that on the calendar to spend 10 or 20 minutes decluttering in a session, those bags are going to go. Eventually, they're going to go. Not that I don't make mistakes, I totally do, but I've accepted that while decluttering regret, the realization that I need something after I declutter it, which we all have, isn't fun. I've survived every time. Yes, I got rid of a knee brace that I wish I kept, because the knee brace I did keep is too small. Yay! But it happens. It's okay. I'm going to live. But even though decluttering paralysis and decluttering regret are terms that make me sigh, this one gives me hope. Decluttering momentum. It's a real phenomenon. But starting with easy stuff and working through the steps I'm sharing in this book, I saw visible, measurable improvement in my home. As my home changed, I changed, and decluttering got easier and easier. I'm so excited for you to experience that too. Sharon said, I used to hate it when my in-laws would stop by unannounced. Now my home is always neater. Not perfect, but I have less stuff. Yes. And when you have less stuff, it is not nearly as devastating when somebody stops by. So here's what I'm thinking of how much we'll do each Wednesday. I'm thinking 2 chapters because the chapters are very, very short. So oftentimes one longish chapter, although chapter 3 is long. That would be 14 pages. Is that too long to cover next week? I'm going to say chapter 2 and chapter 3, but would you guys promise to let me know if I have assigned too much? Because after that, normally there'll be a longish chapter beside a shortest chapter. And so a short chapter is like 2 pages, 2 to 4 pages. So do you guys think 14 pages, can we do it to go over chapter 2 and 3 next Wednesday? I really think this is going to help us. Okay, Monique says that's fine. So you can let me know in the comments if I do end this and you haven't gotten to comment on that. I think this is going to be great for all of us. I think it'll also be great encouragement. Okay, Marie says that's fine. Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go through this. It's so funny because I was impatient when I first started the Breaking Anxiety's Grip, even though I knew, oh, okay, Sharon and Tracy say sounds good, good, good. Meg says fine with her. To get onto a decluttering book. So I thought, you have a decluttering channel, do a decluttering book. But I really think it was good to talk through anxiety first, especially since decluttering can cause some anxiety. So I'm going to let you all go, and we'll plan on about 30 minutes. Some weeks it might be 5 minutes less. Some weeks it might be 5 minutes more, 4 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, but always feel free to watch a playback when you can't make it. So I love you all. I have so much footage that I have filmed that needs to be edited. So I am not going to do any work today. We did the realtor, and then Yvonne worked so hard helping me clean, even though she was getting over a terrible cold, that I took her out to lunch as a thank you because I think she cleaned more of this house than I did today. But it feels so good. So you have a nice evening too, Marie, and all of you, Mags, Sharon, let's see, Marie, Monique, did I say Tracy, Sharon again, going through all of the little comments, Lori, Mags. I love you guys. Remember, God loves you too, more than I could ever hope or imagine. So I will see you next time. Love you. Bye.